I'm going to catch this one on me actually, but I just suck in through this tube. There's a filter here, and then the mosquito comes through this solid part here. So there we go. And so that's caught her in there. So I'm Dr. Dan Peach. I'm a postdoctoral fellow at the University of British Columbia and director of the Entomological Society of British Columbia. And I work with mosquitoes. I like to say that I speak mosquito. My research revolves around how they communicate and interact with the world around them, how they interpret their environment, and also where to find them. My primary focus is on what I call the secret life of mosquitoes, and that's on everything they do that doesn't involve biting humans. So most of our interactions with mosquitoes, are they land on us and we swat them, and we just see a little brown and sometimes brown and red splatter on our arm. But they have a whole other life cycle, and in fact their acquisition of blood is well, it's very, very important to them. It's only a small part of that. So it's only the females of some mosquito species that will take blood, and only some of those species will take blood from humans. The primary ubiquitous food source of all adult mosquitoes is floral nectar for both the males and the females. And so a lot of my interest revolves around how they go about finding that, the plants that they pollinate, how they pollinate them, and how the sensory cues that they use to locate these plants. So things like the chemicals in the floral smell that they detect, the ultraviolet cues from flowers that they pick up on, and also a few alternate sources of sugar that they sometimes feed on as well, such as damaged fruit or aphid honeydew. 33 species of mosquito in the Yukon that are known. Yep. There are probably a good 4 or 5 more that we think are here, but just haven't been confirmed yet. And some of these are things that are present in Alaska and BC, so they're probably here. And some of these things are present near the border with the Northwest Territories or northern BC, so they could extend into the Yukon or not. At least 31 of them that under some circumstances can feed on people. Mm-hmm. But of those, there are a few of them that'll basically ignore people unless they have any other option. So I'd say probably you're looking at somewhere in the low 20s, or things that you reasonably expect.
Predominantly feed on people?
Yeah, or at least predominantly feed on, there are some species that they'll feed on mammals in general, but they really just prefer big mammals, like, livestock and moose and that sort of thing. There are some that prefer to feed on birds, but,
Really?
you can force them to feed on people, and if they can't find anything else, they'll come to a person. And then there's an amphibian specialist which basically just will not, under any circumstance, feed on a person.
Okay. Really?
So, yeah.
Just amphibians.
Yep.
That's
And that's
cool.
one that I actually found here on the preserve on what was that, Wednesday. It's called Culex teratans, and it's a very interesting creature because mosquitoes can actually hear quite well. Like if you hear the sound of a mosquito, that's how they actually find each other to mate. We call it they're singing to each other. So the male and the female have a slightly different frequency, and then when they find each other, they'll kind of match, and they're attracted to the sound that the wing beats of each other makes. So they have these very, very finely tuned auditory receptors called Johnston organs. Now, this amphibian specialist that's here has actually adapted those organs to hear frogs. So when frogs croak, this thing hears them, and they'll use that to go and find frogs to bite on. Ooh. So that's the kind of stuff that I really like, are all these ecological interactions that don't involve humans.